One of the biggest issues in relationships is the inability to communicate effectively. Most people that have relationship issues end up having an issue where there's a breakdown in communication. Now, a breakdown in communication can come from a lack of trust, it can come from infidelity, it can come from stonewalling, it can come from growing together or growing apart. All of these topics I've discussed here. But one of the biggest issues that causes people to not communicate effectively or to miscommunicate is the inability to process your own emotions. Processing your own emotions allows you to communicate more effectively. Instead of saying, I'm angry, you should be able to say to your partner or even yourself, I'm angry because. I'm angry because you said this, or I'm angry because this happened. And granted, sometimes you do that. A lot of us may have the ability to process our own emotions effectively, and we try, you can communicate that to your partner or the person that you're dealing with, and still there's miscommunication. Miscommunication occurs not because you're able to communicate your emotions properly. At that point, the miscommunication is because you're not able to accept the other person's emotions, or you're not able to decipher what they're feeling or why they're feeling. In such moments, what is required? Patience. But do we all have patience? Do all of us practice patience? And even with the insurmountable amount of patience, it does not mean that you can get that other person to tell you exactly how they're feeling or why they're feeling. So let's talk today about how you can process your own emotions, because it doesn't matter if you're in a relationship or not, it always comes back to the individual. It always comes back to the person, one person at a time, improving themselves so that they can come together and effectively communicate with each other. For me, I've always been able to express how I feel. And the reason I do that is because I have recognized over a period of time that if I don't tell people how I'm feeling, then I have to deal with that stuff later on. If I don't express in that moment how I'm feeling or try to work through my emotions, then I'm going to spend a lot of time on the back end trying to figure out what happened instead of dealing with it right there and then. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Being from Barbados, it's cultural. Some people don't express their emotions, and then some people are very bold and very, forward with how they feel. I'm very direct. Indirect communication is a real thing. You have somebody who communicates indirectly, and you have somebody who communicates directly. The thing is not that the communication is different. The thing is being able to get to a place where you both can understand where the other person is coming from. And how do you do that? How do you get to a place where you understand where the other person is coming from? First of all, don't take it personally. Don't take what the other person is unable to say personally. Don't take what they're saying personally, because maybe they've miscommunicated, and you take that personally instead of understanding where they're coming from. If you feel attacked, if you feel judged, if you feel that this person sees you as the enemy, then the communication is coming from that place. So you have to accept in that moment, hey, you know what? This person either has my best interest at heart, this person cares about me, and this person is not telling me these things because they don't care about me. I need to stop taking this personally, and I need to focus on what they're really trying to say instead of interpreting it based on how I feel. A lot of times when we respond to people, we're responding to people from our perspective, from our pain, from our experience. This world is like a mirror. Every person you come in contact with is mirroring something within yourself. So when you see people, ask yourself, what is this person mirroring to me that makes me feel the emotions that I'm feeling? Have you ever met somebody that you didn't like? Perfect example. Have you ever met someone that you think, you know what, this person doesn't like me or this person has it in for me? Maybe your feelings are correct. Maybe, your sixth sense is kicking in, but it doesn't matter. What matters is how you choose to respond or react to that person in that moment. And you should not react or respond to that person based on an emotional upheaval or emotional uncertainty. You need to be sure of your emotions, and that takes practice. Understanding what you feel, when you feel it, and why you feel it is necessary to navigate other people's territory of what they're feeling, why they're feeling it, and how they're feeling it. Does it sound like a lot of work? It can be a lot of work. But in a relationship, you have to do the work if you want it to work, right? So understanding what your partner is saying, why they're saying it, and the reasoning behind what they're saying is important. And understand this. When you guys got together, because I think a lot of people don't realize this in relationships. When you first get together, you're focused on, they talk about a honeymoon phase and all that phase. The phase you're most focused on is you being happy, you and how you feel, and how this person is making you feel. And then when you get into a relationship, you get deeper into it. It's not so much about how this person is making you feel as much as how you're feeling within yourself to start with. What is going on within yourself internally before this external, addition comes into play? You have to really, I am a firm believer that you have to have your stuff together to some degree in order to attract something that can stabilize what you're feeling or help you to develop or grow from the place where you are. Most people should be able to help you become better. If you're with someone and that person doesn't make you feel better about yourself, that person is not allowing you to grow within yourself or helping you to understand yourself, then you have to reevaluate. You can reevaluate and decide maybe this is not working, or you can reevaluate and say, you know what? We need to be on the same page. And is it impossible to get on the same page? Absolutely not. I have worked with couples who were not on the same page and they got together on the same page. The thing is the desire and the commitment to wanting to work through your differences. When relationships are not working, a lot of times they're not working because people tend to focus on the differences. You weren't the same person to start with. I don't understand why people think that two people, because they fell in love, that they're the same person cut from the same cloth, and that, oh, this person understands me. They understand what you want them to understand in that moment. They don't know all your idiosyncrasies and your nuances. They don't understand the list that you have in your head that is imaginary, that not even yourself has access to until it plays out in the relationship. You're not the same person. And because you're not the same person, you will encounter differences that occur within the relationship. And as you get deeper into the relationship, you're going to discover those idiosyncrasies and those nuances that you may not like about the other person. And as much as you may not like them about the other person, it doesn't mean that you have to focus on those things as being different, so vastly different from yourself that you cannot make peace with it. Accept from the beginning that you're different. Accept from the beginning that communication is not just about one person, it's about both. Accept that communication is skewed based on your emotional response and reaction to that person. Accept that you and your inability to communicate or accept and deal with your own emotional intelligence can be problematic in a relationship. People who stonewall, people who pull away, people who stop talking, people who talk only when they get angry and they bottle everything in and then they're diarrhea of the mouth. It's because they don't know how to deal with their emotions real time. What is real time? Real time is saying, if something accepts you now, it accepts me. If you do not want to say it upsets me now, say, give me a minute. Take a break. Let's come back. Let's revisit this. We don't have to talk about this right now. We don't have to go down this rabbit hole where we know both of us are going to be rolling down the rabbit hole. Take a break. Take a breather. Write down how you feel. If you're not sure about how you feel, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling what I'm feeling? And how can I convey or translate this to my partner? And then come back to the table and say, this is how I feel. This is why I feel like the way I feel. I want you to know this, and give that person the opportunity to express themselves and tell you if what you're feeling or how what you're feeling is justifiable or not. Conversations. I always talk about asking the right questions, but in addition to asking the right questions, having conversation is important. Conversations mean that you're not always going to hear what you want to hear. You may not always like what the other person is saying, but it's your civic duty in a relationship to at least listen, to give them an opportunity to say how they feel. You cannot demote or ignore someone's opinion or feelings. That is a grave disaster. Instead, what you can do is give them an opportunity to express how they feel if they cannot say accurately what they're feeling, and then help them work through that. It is a collaboration based on an understanding that each individual person is different, but those differences don't have to be your breaking point. Those differences can actually be overcome, accepted, and focus on how you are similar. My name is Ingrid Felton. As always, thank you for visiting the YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for telling others people about what I'm doing here. Continue to support me because I want to continue doing what I'm doing. Remember, today is the day that you don't focus on how you and your partner are different. What you're going to focus on is how you're similar and how you can build upon those similarities. Thank you. Bye.